Amber Heard accused Johnny Depp of domestic violence, destroyed his career, and cost him millions. But when the trial began, the evidence revealed she was the real abuser. This is how one woman's lies brought down Hollywood's biggest star. Welcome back to Crime Secrets, where we expose the truth behind the headlines that shocked the world. Today's case isn't just about celebrity drama. It's about false accusations, media manipulation, and how easily the truth can be twisted. The Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard defamation trial became the most watched court case in modern history, exposing a web of lies that nearly destroyed one of Hollywood's most beloved actors. What you're about to hear will change everything you thought you knew about this case. In 2009, Johnny Depp was at the peak of his career. The Pirates of the Caribbean franchise had made him one of the highest-paid actors in Hollywood, earning over $650 million worldwide. At 46, Johnny was a global superstar, known for his eccentric characters and devoted fan base. But personally, he was struggling. His long-term relationship with Vanessa Paradis, mother of his 2 children, was ending after 14 years. Enter Amber Laura Heard, a 23-year-old aspiring actress from Texas. Born in 1986, Amber had moved to Los Angeles with dreams of stardom. She was strikingly beautiful, ambitious, and determined to make it in Hollywood. Her breakthrough came when she was cast in The Rum Diary, a 2011 film starring Johnny Depp. On set, the chemistry between Johnny and Amber was immediate and intense. Johnny was captivated by Amber's beauty and seemingly free-spirited nature. For Amber, Johnny represented everything she wanted: fame, fortune, and access to Hollywood's elite circle. Their romance began while Johnny was still with Vanessa, creating the first red flag that many would later recognize. But Johnny was smitten, believing he had found his soulmate. In 2012, after his split from Vanessa was finalized, Johnny and Amber went public with their relationship. The age gap was significant. Johnny was 23 years older than Amber. Friends and family expressed concerns, but Johnny was in love. He showered Amber with expensive gifts, including a $7 million penthouse in Los Angeles and luxury cars. He introduced her to his inner circle and even got matching tattoos. Johnny proposed to Amber in 2014, and they married in February 2015 in a private ceremony in the Bahamas. What should have been the happiest time in Johnny's life quickly became a nightmare. Behind closed doors, their relationship was volatile and toxic. Amber exhibited controlling behavior from the beginning. She isolated Johnny from his friends and family, criticized his appearance and lifestyle, and began making unreasonable demands. She was particularly hostile toward Johnny's close friends and his children from his previous relationship. Johnny's assistant, Stephen Deuters, later testified that he witnessed Amber's aggressive behavior toward Johnny on multiple occasions. She would throw objects, scream, and berate him in front of others. When Johnny tried to de-escalate situations by leaving, Amber would follow him, continuing the confrontation. The most disturbing aspect of their relationship was Amber's systematic documentation of their fights. Unbeknownst to Johnny, Amber was secretly recording their arguments, taking photos after their disputes, and building what appeared to be a case against him. Johnny's substance abuse, which he had struggled with for years, worsened during this period. He began drinking more heavily and using drugs to cope with the stress of his toxic marriage. Amber would later use his addiction issues as ammunition against him, despite contributing to his deteriorating mental state. The couple's fights became legendary among their staff and friends. Audio recordings that would later surface in court revealed the true dynamics of their relationship. In one recording, Amber can be heard admitting to hitting Johnny and throwing objects at him. "I did not punch you," Amber says in the recording. "I was hitting you. It was not punching you. You didn't get punched. You got hit." When Johnny tries to explain how her physical violence affects him, Amber responds with mockery and dismissal. She berates him for leaving during fights, calling him weak and pathetic for not fighting back. Perhaps most revealing was a recording where Amber taunts Johnny about his public image. "Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them I, Johnny Depp, a man, am a victim of domestic violence." These recordings would later prove crucial in exposing the truth about their relationship dynamics. They showed Amber as the aggressor and Johnny as someone desperately trying to escape a toxic situation. In May 2016, after just 15 months of marriage, Amber filed for divorce. 3 days later, she appeared in court with visible bruises on her face, claiming Johnny had hit her during a fight. She obtained a temporary restraining order against him, alleging a pattern of domestic violence throughout their marriage. The timing was calculated and devastating. Johnny was out of the country promoting his film, Alice Through the Looking Glass, when the accusations hit the media. Photos of Amber's bruised face appeared on every tabloid cover and news website worldwide. The impact on Johnny's career was immediate and catastrophic. Disney, which had built the Pirates franchise around Johnny's iconic Captain Jack Sparrow character, began distancing themselves from the actor. Upcoming projects were canceled or postponed. Johnny's reputation, built over decades, was destroyed overnight. But there were inconsistencies in Amber's story that would later prove crucial. Security footage from their apartment building showed Amber without any visible injuries just hours after the alleged incident. Staff members who saw her the next day testified they noticed no bruises or marks. Most damning was the revelation that Amber had been photographed at public events in the days following the alleged abuse with no visible injuries, despite claiming the bruises took weeks to heal. Amber's accusations launched a media feeding frenzy. She became the poster child for domestic violence survivors, writing op-eds and giving interviews about her experiences. The Me Too movement, which was gaining momentum, embraced her as a symbol of women speaking truth to power. Johnny, meanwhile, was portrayed as a washed-up actor whose addictions had turned him into a violent abuser. Major publications ran lengthy exposés about his alleged dark side, often relying solely on Amber's accusations without seeking corroborating evidence. The court of public opinion had already convicted Johnny before he had a chance to defend himself. Social media platforms were flooded with posts condemning him and praising Amber's courage for speaking out. But some people weren't convinced. Johnny's ex-partners, including Winona Ryder and Vanessa Paradis, publicly defended him, stating they had never experienced any violence or abuse during their relationships with him. His children also supported their father, despite the intense media scrutiny. In 2019, Johnny made the decision to fight back. He filed a $50 million defamation lawsuit against Amber, claiming her accusations were false and had destroyed his career and reputation. The lawsuit specifically targeted an op-ed Amber had written for The Washington Post, where she described herself as a survivor of domestic abuse without naming Johnny directly. Johnny's legal team argued that while the op-ed didn't mention him by name, it was clearly about their relationship and reinforced the narrative that he was an abuser. They sought damages for lost film roles, including potential earnings from future Pirates movies. Amber countersued for $100 million, claiming Johnny's legal team had defamed her by calling her accusations a hoax. She maintained her stance that Johnny had abused her throughout their marriage and that she was being re-victimized by his lawsuit. The stage was set for one of the most explosive celebrity trials in history. Both sides prepared to present evidence that would finally reveal the truth about their toxic relationship. The trial began on April 11, 2022, in Fairfax County, Virginia. What made this case unique was that it was broadcast live, allowing millions of viewers to watch the proceedings in real time. Social media platforms exploded with commentary, memes, and analysis of every moment. Johnny's testimony was the first bombshell. He calmly and methodically described years of psychological and physical abuse at Amber's hands. He detailed how she would provoke fights, throw objects, and then document the aftermath to use against him. The most shocking revelation was Johnny's account of the incident that ended their marriage. He testified that during a fight, Amber threw 2 vodka bottles at him, one of which shattered and severed the tip of his finger. Amber had claimed Johnny injured himself during a drug-fueled rage, but medical evidence and witness testimony supported Johnny's version of events. But it was the audio recordings that truly turned public opinion. When the jury heard Amber admitting to hitting Johnny and mocking him for being a victim, the narrative completely shifted. These weren't the words of an abuse victim, they were the words of an abuser. When Amber took the stand, her performance was widely criticized as theatrical and unconvincing. She claimed Johnny had hit her repeatedly, thrown objects, and even threatened to kill her. but her testimony was riddled with inconsistencies and contradicted by physical evidence. Most damaging were her claims about the severity of the alleged abuse. Amber testified that Johnny had hit her so hard she thought her nose was broken, yet photos taken immediately after showed no visible injuries. She claimed he had grabbed her by the hair and dragged her across broken glass, but again, there were no corresponding injuries. The jury and public began to see through Amber's performance. Her tears appeared forced, her story kept changing, and her demeanor on the stand seemed calculated rather than genuine. After 6 weeks of testimony, the jury deliberated for less than 3 days before reaching their verdict. They found that Amber had defamed Johnny and awarded him $10 million and 35 cents in damages. They also found that one of Johnny's representatives had defamed Amber, awarding her $2 million. But the real victory was the restoration of Johnny's reputation. The trial had exposed the truth about their relationship and vindicated his claims of being the victim of abuse. The Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial changed everything. It showed how false accusations can destroy innocent lives and highlighted the importance of due process over trial by social media. Johnny's courage in fighting back inspired other victims of false accusations to speak out. Today, Johnny is rebuilding his career while Amber's reputation lies in ruins. The trial proved that the truth always comes out eventually. You just have to be brave enough to fight for it. If this case opened your eyes to the dangers of false accusations, subscribe to Crime Secrets for more investigations into the stories that shape our world.